Good morning, everyone. It's a gorgeous day here. It rained yesterday on and off. I know our spring is full, which is great. Maverick's doing better. Yes, not limping anymore already. Sometimes it just takes a little. And I found the beginnings of error on one of the other horses, but cut that in time. So, good. Now, got to get the farrier here as well, but all that inflammation needs to be taken care of first. Otherwise, uh, it won't be a pleasant experience for the horse or the farrier, right? Yes. Well, anyway, so that is that for today, and I got company coming. I got company coming. I got company coming today. My youngest daughter and hopefully my son's coming today, and we're going to get a push in the house with all the stuff everybody has. Again, more just to organize it, put it somewhere so I can stay there for the next 50 years. Why do people need so much stuff? Well, there's all these memories attached to it, and this and that. But if you don't need it, use it. Don't even have it in your own house for what, X years, then one has to question certain things, don't you think? But again, anyway, so uh, good thing I like cleaning, organizing. So there is that. And then I'm amazed on how people are into stuff like that, but they are, and that's fine too. And we can have another super moon, the last one, I guess, of the year or something, and combined with something else or this or that. So anyway, so supposedly people's mood swings and this and that, and whatever else could happen. He's high on alert. And it's like, I don't believe in things like that at all. I don't, because as I said, most of the time I don't even know, right? If I don't look at the calendar. Yeah, I'm still someone that has a calendar hanging up. Can you believe it? I don't look on the calendar when it's new moon, full moon, or this or that, unless I'm planting. Yes? Okay, there's something to that energy there, right? Yeah. Anyway, the veining and the growing of the moon. But as far as, does it have any kind of effect on me, or do I feel like, because I know it, that's why they are like that? No. I don't believe in things like that. And if people do, it's one thing that came immediately to my mind again when I saw certain things. I'm going, well, I sure hope they don't have any children, because if you believe in stuff like that and you think you're affected by that by yourself and you have no control in a way or whatever, then don't have children. No, don't. You have to be a really good, centered human being in order to raise children. Yes? Yeah. And I saw one more other one, we're petitioned to sign because now there's even more brutal laws for to have, and how to have abortions. And I'm going, my gosh, aren't we done with that by now? I thought so, right? And can't people just abstain from sex when they're not ready for a child? That's the simplest solution, isn't it? Yeah, right? Really, people so unable to control their physical lust, or think that that's such that's a thing to, I don't know, it's a hobby for people or something, which it shouldn't be. Right? Uh, what, they can't? That's so dominant in their life. They can't make proper decisions when it comes to all that. Anyway. So in order to counteract the irresponsibility of the people when it comes to all that, yes, there's a few cases where, okay, there's just a few cases. Most of them aren't like that, where intervention is needed for one reason or another. Yet here, to counteract this just absolute disgusting behavior of the people, I said, that's not love. That's just disgusting behavior. Right? Yes? And to counteract that with having things ready for people, then to take care of their problem. Right? It's not a child anymore. It's a problem. Well, anyway, what can I say? And as we have already read in the Old Testament, it goes way far back, right? Yes, the irresponsibility on having children. All I have to think of is just, what's his name? Ishmael. Yeah. And his mama. Anyway. Yeah. It is what it is. So we're in the second book of Samuel. 2 Samuel 1. David learns of Saul's death. Saul was dead, and David, returning after his victory over the Amalekites, had been at Ziklag for 2 days. I'm amazed on how they are so... It took 2 days. It was 2 days. Right? It was for 2 days there. On the third day, some time things are so, like, yes, you know exactly, and then other times when we're going, well, how long did that take? What was that? It's not there, right? Yes. Yeah, but for 2 days. On the third day, a man arrived from Saul's camp with his clothes torn and earth on his head. Earth on his head. When he came to David, he fell to the ground and prostrated himself. David asked him, "Where have you come from?" "I've escaped from the Israelite camp," he said. David said, "What has happened? Tell me." He replied, "The people fled from the battle, and many of them have fallen and are dead. Saul and his son Jonathan are dead too." Then David asked the young man, "Who brought the news?" Oh. "How do you know that Saul and his son Jonathan are dead?" The young man replied, "I happened to be on Mount Gilboa, and there was Saul leaning on his spear with the chariots and the cavalry bearing down on him. Glancing behind him and seeing me, he shouted to me. I replied, 'Here I am,' he said. 'Who are you?' I replied, 'I am an Amalekite.' He then said, 'Come here and kill me. My head is swimming, although I still have all my strength.' So I went over to him and killed him, because I knew that once he fell, he could not survive. He then took the crown which he had on his head and the bracelet on his arm and have brought them here to my lord." Wait a minute. What? Did you guys just hear that? So there's an Amalekite there. So this guy who just came isn't an Israelite. And while he fell on his spear, Saul didn't die. He wasn't dead yet. But his armor bearer killed himself as well after he saw that. What's going on here now? Oh, we're getting another story. Oh, another news story. Oh. Up, that's... What is this now? Huh. All right. Okay. All right. This now is an account from someone that was there that survived, right? When we got the story beforehand, who was actually there, who saw everything. It looks like this Amalekite, that young man that fled. What was he doing there? And didn't David just fight the Amalekites? Okay, I'm not getting it. But this dude was up at Gilboa. But David was somewhere else. That's interesting. Okay. I don't even know. I mean, if you guys are hearing what I'm hearing, it's like, oh, okay. And here, this Amalekite is under the guidance, wants to be here, brought David. All right, I'm not. The crown and the bracelet from Saul and calls him my Lord. But it's an Amalekite. You getting any of it? I'm not getting it. But okay. David then took hold of his clothes and tore them, and all the men with him did the same. They mourned and wept and fasted until the evening for Saul and his son Jonathan, for the people of Yahweh and for the house of Israel, because they had fallen by the sword. At least he did acknowledge the whole house of Israel, all the other men too. David said to the young man who had brought the news, "Where are you from?" Well, he just told him. He replied, "I am the son of a resident foreigner, an Amalekite." David said, "How was it that you were not afraid to lift your hand to destroy Yahweh's anointed?" Then David called one of the young men. "Come here," he said, "strike him down." The man struck him, and he died. Whoops-de-woo. David said, "Your blood be on your own head. You convicted yourself out of your own mouth by saying, 'I killed Yahweh's anointed.'" But Saul wanted to die, right? So his armor barrier didn't do the mercy killing, kind of, right? So here he's already hanging on his spear, right? Now he can't do anything somehow, and here comes this, "Hey, come on, go ahead and kill me, please." So shouldn't David says that? No, okay, you done a good deed, so that well, okay. So what do we know, right? How did the story actually really go? We don't know. But David isn't happy with this guy having. Okay, this is weird. Okay, and the reason for it, "I killed Yahweh's anointed." Something just came to my mind. I better not mention that. Okay, all right. Let's just keep going. Ugh, this is just weird. David's elegy over Saul and Jonathan. David sang the following lament over Saul and his son Jonathan. "It is for teaching archery for the children of Judah. It is written in the book of the just." What? Oh. So here goes the song. "Does the splendor of Israel lie dead on your heights? How did the heroes fall?" You've noticed how people become heroes often after their death? "Do not speak of it in Gath, nor broadcast it in the streets of Ashkelon. For fear the daughters of the Philistines rejoice, for fear the daughters of the uncircumcised gloat." That's weird. "You mountains of Gilboa, no dew, no rain fall on you. O treacherous fields, where the hero's shield lies, dishonored." What do the mountains have to do with it, nor the dew or the rain with all this? I got always have to someone to blame. "Not greased with oil the shield of Saul, but with the blood of wounded men, the fat of warriors." That's an interesting way to look at it. The blood of wounded men as a soldier is the fat of warriors. That's a interesting. That's an interesting little poetry thing there. "The bow of Jonathan never turned back. The sword of Saul never came home unsated." Saul and Jonathan, beloved and handsome, were divided neither in life nor in death. Swifter than eagles were they, stronger than lions. O daughters of Israel, weep for Saul, who gave you scarlet and fine linen to wear, who pinned golden jewelry on your dresses. How did the heroes fall in the thick of the battle? Jonathan, by your dying, I too am stricken. I am desolate for you, Jonathan, my brother. Very dear you were to me. Your love more wonderful to me than the love of a woman. Ooh, whoopsie-woo. How did the heroes fall and the weapons of war succumb? Okay, well, that's it for one. Eek. I don't know what to say here. Much. I wasn't there. Hmm. Interesting. Not once is God mentioned in that song. Huh. Okay. So be it. Interestingly enough, before I started this video, I thought of my children coming, and we're going to take care of stuff in there, and hopefully do get, either donate, or I'm probably just going to put everything out for free and on out by the county road, and people go through it. It's right next door to Garbage Kids too, so, or not too far off. And then whatever is left over, right? Because there's not, I mean, there are, well, okay, it's not stuff that has great value or anything, okay? So to give it away, or for people here, right? There are still some people really grateful if you put your stuff out there. They can just go through it and take what they want, right? Yes, and it'll go someplace one more time, right? Rather than in the garbage, or I don't know. Goodwill wouldn't want it either, I'm sure. Anyway, but I thought of this lady that I met when another friend had her little junk store, and charged very little, like $5, and you could take whatever you wanted. She had always so much stuff came in. And people just congregate, not just to go and look what there was, what you could have, but to talk, this and that. And there was this older lady that would come. And the first time she was there, a friend took me aside to say, I don't know what she's really doing here, but she's a bit of a collector of stuff, yeah, okay? And so she has a lot of money, and but this is what she does. She comes to this little junk store here and just gets whatever she likes. Anyway, it pays her good though too. She gave her way more usually than the $5. Anyway, so she would leave with a whole car full of stuff. She passed away, and I was asked by someone in the family to come and go through all her stuff. Oh, yeah. And her house. Man, I walked into that house. It was just stuffed. It wasn't like one of those nasty hoarder houses or anything, but there was definitely stuff everywhere. And so I helped going through all that, and the amount of stuff that she had was incredible. Most of it all in good shape. This that, it's good stuff. It wasn't. I'll say it wasn't nasty, dirty, gross, And I was told that if there was anything, and especially from the clothes that I would want. I remember, I think I got a few pairs of sweatpants. Yeah, that. Oh yeah, these are great. Yeah, but otherwise, you know, it just needed to go someplace else. So it got all packed up, this and that, and I spent days and days and days there going through her things. And the thing is, it wasn't it. It's one of those things, right? It was in her old age, living in her home, this and that. And I think she was walking on a cane as well. So she had a little bit of a hard time walking. Still drove a car. She loved doing it. You could tell. When I met her at the little junk store, she really enjoyed life still. She really did. And enjoyed finding something she really liked. And oh yeah, that's got the oh yeah, this as I said, every time she would be there, she'd go home with a carload of stuff. And when I started going through her things, in a way, I did it not just, oh, golly, this, and, just start throwing it in the boxes. I didn't do that. I went through her things, right? Then to see, okay, what could go where, this and that, with just as much pleasure, and happily doing it as she collected it, right? And looked basically just about at every piece of clothing to see, okay, is this still good? Is that, and in a way honored her things in that way. How often when people pass away, right? People just go in and just put it all in a bag. Let's get rid of it. Never considering that they're packing up the life of a person on earth. Yes. So it's one of those things that when I did that, I so have that in my. I see the whole. It was so many years ago now, but I've got the whole layout of the house and where I was and what I did, all still in my mind, and how I went through the things. Right? Yes, with some respect. Right? Yeah. Due to the person that did all that collecting. Which reminded me of Miriam. Now that reminds me of Miriam, another old friend that I had. And when we started going together through all of her boxes she hadn't unpacked in, God, 40 years or something. And we came across all these things, that she had these stories from her travels with her husband. Well, anyway, that comes to mind, and on what a joy it was for her to have somebody there helping her, number one, but the other thing too, to relate the stories about the pieces, right, that we came across. Now her stuff, Miriam stuff, ooh, that was good stuff. Did I get any of it? Ah, my gosh, it wasn't really things that I was interested in to start with. And there was every once in a while a little something. She said, would you like to have that? I didn't ask for it. And that I wouldn't refuse. But, my. I think one of the things that might cross people's minds every once in a while, right? When I pass away, what's going to happen to my things, right? Yes? Are they just lovelessly going to be thrown out because now all of my things have become a bother to someone else? Well, anyway, so there it is. Little food for thought. I know that I've got my Christmas presents for my grandchildren together, at least two of them. My son has these boxes, and I mean, we're talking boxes and boxes of Legos. Legos are expensive. These are still the old Legos, the good, right? The good material. Oh, they're going back to. I heard something, not the Legos. The material that they're using now to make the Legos isn't all that good. And they're having some problems with it. I don't know what they are. I haven't bought any Legos in a long time. But my son's Legos, so many years old, they're the good kind. And I thought, when we were up there, my grandson had a small box of Legos, right? And we were building things, and who sticks with those, whatever they're supposed to be, right? Yes, eventually, let's just build our own thing, right? And we ran out of Legos. We could have built higher and bigger, and we ran out of Legos. And I thought, man, I got all them Legos at the house. Nobody's doing. What do I need to keep here for children to come and play? Maybe one or two of the boxes, but not four, right? And I thought, oh, I'm going to talk to my son. I think my grandson, his nephew, needs some of these Legos now. Legos. And then my youngest daughter still has some Beanie Babies. Yep, there's probably still 40 or 50 of them up there. And she loves to play with her stuffed animals. Yes? And Beanie Babies, there's such a thing to make stories with. And this, I mean, it is, my children did. They weren't just bought and stuck on a shelf. So I thought, oh, my littlest granddaughter would just love all those Beanie Babies. And she's one of those children still that she will go into her room and she doesn't want anybody bothering her and she's playing her own thing. Yes? Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah. Anywho. Now, did you guys hear? Okay. The Legos belong to whom? The Beanie Babies belong to whom? Neither of them has children, right? Yes? Okay. And even one could always attach a little note. Please keep them nice in case, right? Yes. But these Legos have been in these containers now for a good 15 years. Yeah, I have two boxes that when the children come here, they play sometimes with them. And so now I have okay, can you guys just let go of this stuff, because we have children in the family who would play with us right now. Right? Yes? Okay. Anywho. So there is that. Letting go of things that you may or may not, right? Use in the future, or actually save even for someone else to use in the future. How far down the road? Well, there are, right now, people who could use these things. Yes? Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, but one has to ask, right? I do. Most of the time. Yes. Well, anyway, that's all I have to share this morning. Well, here's David finds out that Saul and Jonathan obviously wasn't much associated with the other two sons of Saul. And I think he mentioned Saul because it's kind of the right thing to do. But I think who he really laments for is probably Jonathan, right? Because Jonathan was kind of someone that has been always on his side. For the right reasons, I'm not sure. The love of Jonathan and David are a bit odd. Not saying, just saying. Not saying, I'm just saying. And he was also a great advocate of David. Right? He lost kind of his right hand in a way when it comes to moving forward and where David's going now, isn't it? Yes? So, anywho, odd song. It's an odd song, but there it is. There's a lot of odd songs out there that I listen to, and I'm going, I have no idea what that just meant, but okay. So yeah. So it's another beautiful day here, day of work. I've got to go to the barn. I'm surprised that Sage hasn't hollered yet. I must be doing this early enough. And they came home a little late yesterday, but they did come home, which is good. And it's really quiet. You guys notice it's really quiet right now. Dogs are out running. Chickens aren't out yet. It's nice and quiet. Golly, what a treat. Yes. All right. Well, God's love and blessings always. May He protect you. And I will talk to y'all another time.